Welcome back to the Tahoe Real Estate Show. Our guest today, Cody Bass, running for election here for City Council in South Lake Tahoe. Cody, it's a real estate show, and there's a big real estate tie-in based on this upcoming election. You're running for City Council. Tell us a little bit about yourself, aside from being a business owner here in Lake Tahoe as well.
Yeah, you know, I moved to town in '98, and I've been here for 20 years. Started making snow at Heavenly the first 6 years I was in town, and then bought a coffee shop with a friend, and then that transitioned into opening Tahoe Wellness in 2009. So we've been open for 10 years here in January, and you know, have worked a lot with the city on that issue alone, but also have really gotten to know the inner workings of the city throughout this kind of last decade, and how much I've been involved.
Right.
And I really felt called to run for City Council because, frankly, I wasn't very excited about the choices that were available when I did my candidate paperwork, and now I think that we've got 9 candidates, and I think we've got real possibility for good change.
The election, November 6th, there are a number of real estate-driven, measures on the ballot. First, Measure T. What's your stance?
Well, so for Measure T, I mean, I think it's a really difficult vote because I think if you look at the reality of the current council, I think there's been a real failure of the current council to not find compromise between the two sides, and I think that's the ultimate goal of the council, is when you have these type of situations and you have division and two sides in the community, you need to find a way to find that compromise, that nobody's walking away a winner or a loser. And that's why we have Measure T, is purely because of the failure of this current council to find that middle ground. If there was not a new council coming on, and I didn't have faith that a new council was coming on, well, I'd probably say that maybe we should vote yes on Measure T. But if we have a new council, I think there's a real opportunity to find compromise.
We were talking off camera before we got started, and you brought up a topic that nobody's really addressed yet, and that's the fire department and funding for it. What's at stake here? Yeah,
so I met with the fire chief the other day, and we went over kind of some of the services that are offered, and the fact that we've closed Fire Station 2. We're only meeting the national average of 4-minute response time about 20% of the calls, and really what can happen over time if we don't improve these services is it could eventually drive our insurance cost up. If we had a real disaster and we didn't meet the necessary responses, it could really drive up each one of our own insurance policies. So I think that fire has to be a #1 priority of the city, and that the fact that we went from 12 full-time 24-hour firemen to 8 in 2015 to save money when we've increased other departments by millions of dollars is completely wrong and should never be. I mean, we had 12 firemen in 2007, 24 hours a day, and we did about 1,850 calls. Last year in 2017, with 8 full-time firemen, 24 hours a day, we did 3,800 calls, over double the amount of calls and a third less of the resources.
We're going to run out of time.
Okay.
Big hot topic, affordable housing. Your stance, but more importantly, since it has to be brief, how do people get in touch with you?
So www.electcody is my campaign site. I'm also available. My phone is 542-0420. I'm available anytime, or codybass@me.com. But affordable housing, I think there's many solutions. I think we need to allow mother-in-law units. I think we should be able to have tiny homes on our parcels, and our TRPA representative from City Council needs to be really hammering TRPA about that, and I think that's a change that we really need to see as well.
Cody Bass, thanks for taking time to come in, join us on the Real Estate Show. Good luck on November 6th. All right, stay tuned. More of the Tahoe Real Estate Show coming up after the break.